Welcome back to Blink of the Stars top 52 albums of all time. My highly subjective best of list, my favorite albums. Let's get right to it. Number 50 of my favorite albums is Fairport Convention's Liege and Lief. If you don't know Fairport Convention, perhaps you know some of their members. Sandy Denny is the singer on this album. She is one of the great legends of British folk music, folk rock. Richard Thompson, one of the greatest guitar players of all time, certainly in my top 3 favorite guitar players, is the guitar player on this record. Background vocals as well. Simon Nicol plays bass. Dave Swarbrick on fiddle. Ashley Hutchins on bass. And Dave Maddox on drums. Now, I can't say enough about the drums on this record. Dave Maddox himself said that he had to kind of invent a whole new way of playing, and he really did. If you're a musician, and a drummer in particular, do listen to this album and listen closely to the drums. He's not splashy, but what he's doing is incredibly difficult and incredibly inventive and creative. So do check it out. Just if you're a drummer or interested in drums. The album starts with "Come All Ye," the only original on the album. It was written by Ashley and Sandy Denny, and it is a real summoning of the earth powers. It is real earth magic, this song. She summons each instrument and brings them into the fold, and the band plays with, as my grade 11 English teacher used to say, vim and vigor. It is just so cracking and tight, and there's just so much spark and fire, especially in the rhythm track and in Richard's lead lines, which are sort of ambient mic'd. I mean, I've sort of ripped off that vibe a number of times, what he's doing on that song. Reynardine, the second song, is just as haunting a Celtic melody as you could imagine. Now, what they did for this album is it's sort of, they had been doing a lot of American folk covers, Dylan and stuff like that. And what they did on this is like really went inward into their Britishness. Apparently, they went so far as to, what was it here? They went and visited the English Folk Dance and Song Society. They went to the library and researched ancient old English folk songs and sort of brought them back to life in this new folk rock way. And they were very influenced by what was happening on the west coast of America, which was this new sort of folk rock vibe that was sort of happening out there. So they're very influenced by that, but again, with the song selection, the traditional song selection, that kind of went inward and then interpreted these songs in a completely original and new way. And I believe it's been voted, either most influential folk album or folk rock album. It is all of the above. Their cover of Matty Groves is just one of my favorite things of all time. It's one of the most violent, harrowing, ancient murder ballads. And the way Sandy delivers it, I mean, there are no words to kind of describe, the humanity, the horror she puts into the performance. This album also sort of starts a new tradition of... they do an instrumental medley. What's it called? Lark in the Morning. And if you listen to this, it's basically a medley of fiddle tunes. And again, just the drumming, what Maddox comes up with. Now, Maddox, he of course, musicians notice how good this guy was. And, he's played on so many different things, from like XTC to, he's just been all over the place. And, so, I'm going on about Dave Maddox. Tamlin, again, just another like ancient sounding thing that came out of 1969. It could have come out of 1769. There's a great photo you can look up online. The album won some awards at the Melody Maker Pop Poll of 1970 of the next year. And Led Zeppelin also had sort of, really sort of blown up by that time. And there's a great photo of Led Zeppelin posing with Sandy Denny at the awards. And I later heard an interview with Robert Plant, and he was talking about, he goes, it wasn't so much about us celebrating our respective bands' successes. It was more about how their particular underground scene had risen up into the mainstream. And it was this feeling of like, hey, we did it. The old gang, our weird, old, ancient stuff is our old obsessions that we brought to life are now rising to the top. So it's a great series of pictures, actually. So do look up those if you enjoy the album. So do check it out. It is just, I always say that my favorite genre of music is Friday night music, and as haunting and ancient as this record is, it's still a Friday night record for me. I mean, just pour a couple amber British ales up and throw this record on your next Friday night, and you shall have a good time, a crackling, sparkling time. Anyway, Liege and Lief, Fairport Convention. See you next time.